Hello, and welcome to the Dairy Daily, the podcast where we talk about the most pressing issues surrounding the dairy industry. I'm your host, Livy Lawrence, and today we'll be talking about the misconceptions regarding hormones and antibiotics in the dairy industry. Imagine it's little Johnny's third birthday party. Children are running around the yard laughing and playing as the sun sets over Phoenix. Anxious to conclude the party, bathe her son, and have him in bed by 8, Johnny's mom, Amy, pulls out the birthday cake and begins lighting his candles. The children run over excitedly, and their parents pick them up, helping them get a better view as Johnny blows out the candles. One by one, each child is given a sliver of cake. The room quiets as the children begin eating. Amy moves to the fridge and gets out a gallon of milk. She carefully pours her son a glass. Appalled, another mother whispers to her friend from behind her water glass, "Did she just give her son milk? Doesn't she know how dangerous that is? Hasn't she read the articles?" Her hushed voice continues to gain more conviction as she goes on about precocious puberty and antibiotic resistance. Concerned for her own child's safety, the mother listens intently as her fear continues to build. After all, she only wants what's best for her baby. And if that means going against the advice of health experts, she will. However, the claims made by other organizations regarding the negative impact of hormones and antibiotics in dairy have been found to be unsubstantiated by doctors across the country. The FDA has also weighed in, reminding parents of the importance of a balanced diet and assuring them of the sanctity of our nation's milk. Still, fallacies are spread in an effort to harm the dairy industry, but this fear-mongering does more than hurt just farmers. It's hurting children too. Milk offers a rich supply of nutrients necessary for normal growth and development that continue to benefit the body past adolescence. If children are deprived of the nutrients found in milk, it can have a negative impact on their growth and development, and eventually impact them later in life. So now, let's address the real question: how hormones and antibiotics can affect children. The hormones used on dairy cows in the United States are intended to accelerate natural growth, henceforth resulting in the need for less resources to raise a cow. This helps to minimize the environmental footprint left by the dairy industry. The hormone used is bovine somatotropin, or RBST. This is also known as bovine growth hormone, or RBGH. This hormone is naturally produced in the cow's pituitary gland. The hormone RBST serves the same purpose as human growth hormone, one of the hormones that is produced in the human pituitary gland, which enables normal growth and development to occur. Because it is a naturally occurring hormone that is synthesized by the animal's body, there is no genetic or otherwise identifiable difference between a cow that has been treated with RBST and one who has not been. These hormones will have no effect on humans because the receptor that human growth hormone would bind to is a different shape than that of RBST. To put it simply, the human body is unable to absorb hormones produced by cattle. Therefore, according to the National Institute of Health, the hormone RBST is passed through the human body without having any effect. Extensive research has been conducted on this subject. If there was any viable data that showed the use of hormones in dairy to be unsafe, the FDA would have blocked the practice and made it illegal. Because, at the end of the day, it is the responsibility of dairy farmers and the United States government to ensure that our nation's milk supply is safe for all consumers. The use of antibiotics in the dairy industry is another concern for many consumers. It is important to acknowledge that the antibiotics are not added to the milk, but rather are given to the animal if it becomes ill. Federal law prohibits dairy products from containing any trace amounts of antibiotics. In order to ensure that there are no traces of antibiotics in their products, dairy farmers separate a sick cow from the rest of the herd, essentially quarantining the animal. If it is deemed necessary by a veterinarian, the animal is then prescribed antibiotics to clear the infection or illness, similar to the way a sick child would be diagnosed. The animal is given the recommended amount of antibiotics and remains in quarantine until they have taken full effect and the animal is healthy again. Still, the animal must remain in quarantine for a few days while the antibiotics work their way out of the cow's system. Finally, when the veterinarian's recommended waiting period has elapsed, the animal's milk is sent to a lab to search for any indication of remaining medicine. If the milk is found to be clear of any traces of antibiotics, the healthy cow is then reunited with the herd and continues milking as usual. As an extra precaution, all milk is tested before leaving the dairy and again when it reaches the processing plant. If any milk happened to test positive for traces of antibiotics, it would be thrown out and the farmer could lose their license to sell milk. After 3 offenses, the dairy may be forced to close, leaving the farmer with no way to support his or her family. However, it is very rare that this occurs. In fact, the FDA's Center of Veterinary Medicine conducted a survey of over 1,900 unpasteurized milk samples from across the United States. Of these samples, over 99% tested negative for antibiotics. The milk that tested positive was not sold. The FDA and U.S. Public Health Service required that all milk be tested before reaching stores. Therefore, ensuring that dairy products are a safe and reliable source of the valuable nutrients needed to lead a healthy lifestyle. Doctors and nutritionists continue to advocate that people include dairy products in their daily diet. Milk is a vital component to a child's growth and development. However, wanting the best for their children, misinformed parents have been cutting out this much-needed nutrient source from their children's diet. It is important that parents understand that providing their children with dairy products does not put their health at risk. On the contrary, it builds a strong foundation for growth and development that will continue to impact their health for years to come. Thank you for tuning in to the very first episode of the Dairy Daily. Please stay tuned for more content like this, and feel free to leave your questions or comments in the comments section below, and also any suggestions that you have concerning topics that you would like to be covered in future episodes. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. This is Livy Lawrence, signing off.